Let's move along to the Commanders-Cardinals. Also a game with storylines. Is Josh Dobbs going to be any good, or are the Cardinals going to tank this season?
Cardinals
I think the over-under for the Cardinals this year was 3.5 wins, and people were really taking the under. I mean, I don't blame them. Cardinals defense, they're going to be eaten up by Sam Howell. I mean, Jahan Dotson's going to have a great game. McLaurin's going to have a great game. Is McLaurin coming back?
I don't think he's. I don't know.
If McLaurin doesn't come back,
Kenny Galladay.
He was a bum.
Too,
he was a dog when he was with
the Lions.
Stafford and the Lions.
But
he turned out to be a bum. Sorry.
Yeah, which the Giants weren't good at that time. They didn't have Dable, so whatever. But yeah, back to the Cardinals are losing. I mean, there's not much to say about this game. The Cardinals are losing.
Yeah, James Conner will have a good game because he's one of their only players.
They fired every quarterback they had besides Tyler.
They hired Josh Dobbs. Tyler, he's just in the background. Kyler's in the background.
He's got his ACL tear, so he's going to be out for a while. Right. I don't think they're going to play him all season. Like, I think even when he's healthy, they're not. Like, what's the point of playing? When you're 0-12, just rest Kyler, man.
Yeah,
don't even bother risking another injury.
Have Kyler for the following year, and if Kyler's a bum the following year, sorry, dude, get rid of him. Although Kyler was one of the highest paid quarterbacks for a hot minute.
So he's just racking them. So that's what I don't know. I think they might try and offload into another team and then just sign Caleb Williams, who is at this point going to be the number one pick in the draft, quarterback at least, out of college. But we'll see. Obviously things are shaking up in the college department.
He likes mayonnaise or something like that.
Yeah, if he likes mayonnaise and pickles or something, and or just other quarterbacks just pop off. I mean, it's the beginning, so don't take anything college-wise with a grain of salt. But Caleb Williams looks like the real deal in college. So it's one of those weird things where the Cardinals already have Kyler Murray, and Kyler Murray's a good quarterback.
He's good.
When he plays, he's really freaking good. He can throw, he can run.
He can air it out.
Yeah.
Video game when he's running around.
Yeah. So I don't know why they would draft Caleb Williams unless they're trying to get rid of Kyler Murray, which I guess they might do to just save some money.
I can understand that too, just because Kyler has a video game addiction.
The injury thing, it's been the past 2 years that he's been dealing with injury, so I don't know.
And it's getting expensive.
I don't think I would judge either decision too harshly because it's a risk either way.
Yeah, and you can see the justification from both sides.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, the Cardinals are losing. Really, not much to say there.
Yeah, Cardinals are losing. Washington's defense is going to eat. Your pick, you picking up Washington's defense
was a steal because then they fired every quarterback and got Josh Dobbs. So yeah, if you need a fantasy defense for Week 1, pick up the Commanders because they're going to get 50 points, and then just drop them after that because the Commanders defense isn't going to do shit after that week.
Honestly, streaming defenses is the way to go.
It's the way to go. Yeah,
unless you pick the 49ers and you're just lucky that everyone's not hurt.
Yeah, because they're in a weak division and have a good defense. But even a good defenses like the Cowboys and Eagles play really good offenses divisionally and have hard schedules. So even a good defense versus a good offense, the defense is obviously still one of the best in the league, but they're going to get scored on a lot just because of the nature of the scheduling. So stream defenses, we'll give you picks every single week for you to stream because that's what I'm doing in all of my fantasy leagues. So we'll give you picks every week. If you don't feel like doing the research yourself, we'll give you 3 or 4 picks that would be good, ranked in order from worst to best. But moving on, Cardinals are bums.
Yep. Atlanta, Carolina. I like this.
Falcons!
I like this line.
What's the line? Falcons minus 4.5?
Let's see.
That's my guess.
Falcons minus 3.5.
Look how I am disgusting.
Hey, we are degenerate gamblers.
I am.
Unfortunately, that's the case.
Let me tell you a story. I won the lottery, not the full jackpot, obviously, but I did win a nice couple $100,000 from the lottery, and I blew it all on gambling in 2 days. And now I'm poor, so I'm not going to stop because you know what they say: a gambler's 99% of gamblers quit before their big before the big hits. I can't quit.
Can't stop, won't stop grinding.
I can't. Yeah, I can't stop. But the Falcons are going to win.
My mattress is filled with lottery tickets.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The Falcons are going to win. I'm going to say they cover, although I don't know because the Falcons and the Panthers usually end up being pretty high-scoring games that get settled by a field goal.
Divisional games are always...
And you look at last year's games and the year games before that, it usually comes down to a field goal, which...
But here's the thing. I still don't think Bryce Young will have it all together first game.
No, not week 1. And although
Bijan is going to eat.
Yeah, right. It's a lot less important for running backs in terms of being prepared for week 1 because their scheme is simpler than memorizing all your plays like a quarterback.
Right.
You have to memorize plays as a running back, obviously, but it's a little bit different. But also Desmond Ridder, who's basically a rookie because he didn't play all last year, still did play last year and had the reps in training camp from last year and all those things. And then even if Bijan Robinson isn't ready week 1, you still got Tyler Algier who rushed for over 1,000 yards, Cordero Patterson who can go for 1,500 scrimmage yards if he's healthy all season. So you got other guys on that offense that are safer, I think, than betting on Bryce Young to win his first week.
Right. And and Kyle Pitts is back too.
Yeah, and Drake London's obviously
going
good.
to take over. I mean,
they signed up. Have a lot of major defensive signings like Calais Campbell. They still got Grady Jarrett. They got AJ Terrell. They got Jesse Bates. Like, there's so many things to like about that offense and that defense. But either way, whichever team wins, I still think the Falcons are going to win the division just because it's divisionally. The Falcons and the Panthers particularly always play close, even when both teams are good, both teams are bad, one's good, one's bad, whatever it may be. They always play close. So I think it'll be pretty close. I think it'll be probably Falcons like 25 to Panthers like 21 or 20, somewhere around like just barely covering the spread for the Falcons.
Just because these divisional rivalries, I mean, these coaches know each other so well. I mean, they've been going at it. It's bound to happen like that. Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be. And once again, I don't think this game is going to tell us whether or not Bryce Young is a bust or anything either. I just think he's going to struggle a little bit because he's new, which it happens.
Needs to learn.
It happens. Yeah, you got to learn. So we'll move on. Next game is the Bengals-Browns.
Bengals-Browns.
This is one that has a good story because the Browns always play the Bengals close.
Right.
But the Bengals are obviously supposed to be the top dogs in the AFC.
Battle for Ohio. You know that's true.
You just ruined it, man. The battle for Ohio.
It's the battle for Ohio.
The Bengals, besides the Chiefs, the Bengals are the kings of the AFC. Definitely the AFC North as of now, just said the last few years, and second to the Chiefs in terms of kings of just the AFC in general. The Browns are one of those teams that have a lot to prove because just like the Jets, they've put a lot into what they have now, and if it doesn't work out, then they are really stupid. Like always, the Browns have just made poor decisions. Yeah. So,
and I think this is Stefanski's last chance too.
Oh yeah, 100%. If they don't go make the playoffs this year, he needs to be fired because they have way too much talent on that team, offense and defense, to not make the playoffs and get 10
and this
wins.
is what I'm thinking, Ethan. Chubb's gonna have a great game. The Browns' O-line is way too good. Mm-hmm. Their defense is gonna keep Tyler Boyd at bay, T. Higgins at bay, Jamar Chase is a dog.
Tell them how you think the Browns are gonna win, because I know that's where you're going. Tell them about how you think the Browns are gonna win. Justify it.
Deshaun is gonna come out of his slump. Deshaun is gonna be throwing to Elijah Moore, Donovan Peoples-Jones, David Njoku, and Amari Cooper. They're all gonna have a touchdown. And Chubb having a touchdown. This is gonna be one of the highest scoring games the Browns have ever had in a very long time.
I think it'll be a pretty high-scoring game.
The Bengals don't have a good defense. And not to mention, their O-line is rather suspect. I mean, I know they've been trying to rebuild it, but, I mean, when you have guys like Myles Garrett there, and Joe Burrow just recently coming off an ankle injury.
That's what I was going to bring up. I got the Browns for that reason, because Joe Burrow's hurt. Joe Burrow, not at 100%, is still better than most quarterbacks in the league.
Oh, hands down. He's one of the most accurate quarterbacks there are.
But when you're playing a divisional game with a tough team, it doesn't take much for the scales to tip in one direction. So I got the Browns winning this one outright. I think what are the Bengals minus 2.5? I got the Browns just winning outright. Just because of that, I think that the Browns have a lot more to prove, and I think they're going to win week one. They'll probably win a few weeks and then regress a little bit, and I think the Browns are going to be a slightly above positive this season. But I think the Bengals still play fine the rest of the year, but I think that they need to let Joe Burrow rest. They're going to play him, I'm sure, but if I were the Bengals head office, I would just bench him. It's not worth potentially letting him get hurt against Myles Garrett. Like, if it were against another defense, Myles Garrett is going to obliterate that O-line and that quarterback. And when you're coming off a calf injury is a little bit less delicate than like a bone injury, obviously, but still. You don't want to risk anything when it comes to injuries because if you're not playing 100% and he's having to be mobile in the pocket, which he's going to have to be.
He's going to have to be with Myles Garrett.
With Myles Garrett getting pressure, he could tweak his calf again. Like he got injured just on a drop back, which just happens. You just tweak your leg, tweak your knee, calf, ankle, whatever. And he's going to have to be doing that a lot in this game. And I wouldn't risk that.
I think a lot this season, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Especially facing up against the Steelers later on. I don't know about the Ravens as much, but...
Yeah, either way, though, he's going to be doing a lot, and it's particularly against Myles Garrett, he's going to be one of the toughest ones he faces, especially doing it twice a year. But in week one, I would just rest him. So I got the Browns winning this one outright.
Right.
I don't think it's going to say a whole lot about it. I think that the Bengals score like if they don't play Joe Burrow, they'll score 18 points. If they do, they'll score like 24. And I think the Browns score around like 29, 30, 31, 32 points, somewhere around that high 20s, low 30s.
Mid-30s for me. I mean, I like the Browns on this.
Because they're deep. Yeah, the Bengals defense does suck too. So yeah, I'll go mid-30s. I'll say 34 to like 25.
And this will be a good confidence booster for the team too. Like this is. I feel like this game does have a little bit more weight to it because it'll set the.
Oh yeah, it's one of those big story games, like most of them, but this one really is because of the divisional history between the two and both teams having a lot to prove in week one.
I think Ohio's going to be Brown this year. Moving on, Jacksonville Jaguars, Colts. Jags -5. I mean, I got the Jags on this one.
I do too. I got the Jags winning and covering. I think it'll be like. I think the Jaguars cook them up. I mean, I don't know what the Colts defense is going to look like week 1 because there's been injuries, players coming off injuries. It's going to be a little bit tougher. The Jaguars play really well against the Colts. Like even when the Jaguars have 0 wins all season, the Colts are in playoff contention. The Jaguars still do good. So I think the Jaguars probably score like 28 points on them, and the Colts probably score like 14, 15 points, just because it's Anthony Richardson's first game. Jonathan Taylor's obviously not playing. It's just going to be a tough game for the Colts.
Take him off the pup list.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like, I think Jacksonville gets like twice the Colts score. I mean, obviously divisionally it's going to be.
Now with Calvin Ridley there, and no one's been playing against Calvin Ridley in a hot minute.
Oh, and if you've seen any of his
form, if you've seen Calvin Ridley when he was playing with Julio and Matt Ryan,
or if you've just seen any of his video from like training camp with the Jaguars, he looks like the video is sped up 2 or 3 times speed the way he's running these routes and these drills.
They had to slow him down in training camp just because they were afraid he was going to re-injure himself because of how fast he was going.
Right. So I think the Jaguars handsomely win this game.
Oh yeah.
I don't really think there's much to that. I don't think it says a lot about the Colts either because they're still trying to figure out the thing with Jonathan Taylor, which is going to be an issue all season. But it's also rookie quarterback's first game, things like that. It's a new head coach.
Not the best receiving core. I mean,
yeah,
nothing against Michael Pittman and Alec Pierce.
It's bottom 5. I mean, there's not many teams who have a worse receiving core than that. Because even the Giants at this point, they drafted a couple good rookies. They got Darren Waller over there now. They're probably I would probably put the Giants above the Colts at this point.
I would too.
It's just
it's very thin.
Just trash.
It's very thin. Like their whole scheme is mostly based off of the run.
Yeah.
And without your main component to that, it's just
I mean, you can't do much. So
and you also don't want to risk AR having to take the boatload of.
Oh yeah, no, you don't want him to have a Justin Fields type situation where he's getting hurt because he's rushing for 1,000 yards in 3 games.
Right. I'm really curious to see how AR plays this game. This is one of the games that I will be watching.
Once again, I think that if he has a 50% completion rating or more and throws the same
success.
Yeah, if he has a 50% or more completion rating and he throws as many touchdowns as he does turnovers, I think it's a success for him because he's a rookie. It's his first game, and that's really impressive for that, especially against the Jaguars, who know the scheme of the Colts and have a defense that knows how the Colts like to throw the ball. Right. So, it'll be interesting to see. But moving on.
Buccaneers, Vikings. They have the Vikings -6.
And they're going to win and cover.
I have the Vikings winning, but I have the Buccaneers covering.
The Bucs defense is atrocious.
I agree.
The Bucs coaching staff, I think they might have the worst coach in the National Football League. The fact that last year with Tom Brady, a still decent defense, Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, and a bunch of good players around him, they only made the playoffs because they were in the worst division NFL has seen in years.
I understand that.
The coaching staff is horrible. Mike Evans doesn't want to play there anymore. He's going to get traded before the deadline hits.
That's the one thing that there's an asterisk to my pick. Because Mike Evans has till when they're playing Saturday to figure out his contract situation. Because Mike wants to. Honestly, he deserves it. He's definitely in the Hall of Fame.
This is one of the times that I think they deserve to get paid. Because if you're going to try to keep a guy in a shitty team that you know is not going to go win anything, why the hell would he not want? Why would he want to take a pay cut to stay on a shitty team?
Right.
Like that just doesn't make it. He's getting no benefit. No. I think he gets traded before the deadline. Obviously, there's some targets like the Chiefs who could still use a true wide receiver one. The Giants could really use a true wide receiver one. The Colts, we just mentioned, have a shitty receiving core. So there's teams for him to go to, and I think he gets traded because he's later on in his career.
He goes to the Rams?
No, I don't think he goes to the Rams. I don't think the Rams are in a position to even come close to winning a ring this season. So
understandably,
I don't think that he goes there.
But here's my reason: if for whatever reason Mike Evans manages to stay, or they continue contract negotiations and he wants to ball out. The Vikings don't have a good defense at all. They what little defense that they had, they're gone.
The Bucs don't either, though.
They're all gone. And the Bucs don't either.
And if
Baker wants to prove himself.
He does, but I trust Justin Jefferson, KJ Osborne, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson.
Every drive that the Vikings are on, they're going to score unless they fumble it.
Right. Well, that's my point. When you're in a situation where you're just trying to throw the ball and get a touchdown, which is what it might be because the defenses both suck.
Right.
I trust the Vikings a hell of a lot more than I trust the Buccaneers. Not for the least of reason of which is that Baker's in a new scheme. I like Baker. I think he'll play well this season, but he's in a new scheme. but he's in a new scheme.
No, I
and so you got guys like Kirk Cousins that have been building repertoire with Justin Jefferson for several years, and he's the best wide receiver in the league. You got guys like KJ Osborne, who's been popping off this last.
TJ Hawkinson.
TJ Hawkinson, who just got the highest tight end contract in NFL.
Deservedly so. He's
a dog. And then you got Jordan Addison, who played very well in the preseason and is clicking very well with Kirk Cousins. And then you got guys like Alexander Mattinson, who I think are probably on par with Rachaad White for running back.
Right.
I don't see the Vikings losing that game.
No, they're not
at
gonna
all,
lose.
or winning by any less than a score, like a touchdown. I think that they win by. If I had, I would probably bet they win by 10 points if I was taking an alternate spread. But the pick is -6, so I'll say the Vikings win and cover.
I got Tampa just because.
Hey, we'll see when you're wrong next
see.
week.
I'll
but
probably be wrong, but I don't know. The Vikings just always end up being.
They do win close. Yeah, that's true.
They always win close, no matter what.
Yeah, but usually they end up playing some decent enough teams. And I just think the Bucs are one of the worst in the league this year. I think that they're one of those 4 or 5 win teams this season.
Yeah, no.
And I think the Vikings are going to be.
Five,
I think the Vikings are going to be competitive for a wild card spot. I think they get 9-10 wins this season. So,
moving along. Tennessee at Saints. I have the Saints. The Saints are at -3.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty reasonable spread. But I honestly, if I were to take an alternate, I'd do -7.
I think the Saints win and cover.
Yeah.
They're at
Saints win and
home,
cover.
which not that's huge, but that does matter.
Yeah.
I think the Titans are just in one of those situations where no one's buying in anymore because they just keep putting a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound. And the Saints are doing the same thing with their cap issues, but they do have players that buy into the fact that they can win because their division is so easy.
Yeah, their
season.
division, and not to mention, the Saints have a really robust defense. Most of the players came back. You have Cam Jordan.
Yeah, they've got a better
Marshawn
defense, I think.
Lattimore's back from injury.
Michael
And
Thomas is going to play because it's week 1. So
Michael
he'll be out
yeah.
for the rest of the season, but he's going to play this week.
I feel like this season, Michael Thomas has a little bit more
I-
reason to play.
I hope so.
Just because of bonuses and incentives.
I hope
could
so.
see him play alongside with Chris Olave. Chris Olave, there's a stat out there. I mean, people in year 2, they make a huge leap.
And he was already good last
He was
year.
already good last year. I can only imagine. He's got a better quarterback this year, too. And Derek Carr. Derek Carr will air out the ball. And that boy is fast. He will
Especially
burn
with
defenses.
Michael Thomas playing too, where you're not going to be able to really focus on either one. Because Michael
Right.
Thomas played 1 week last season and dropped 30 fantasy points because I had him in week 1, and then I dropped him because he sat out the rest of the season.
Yeah.
But either way, Michael Thomas will play week 1 at least.
Yes.
He plays the rest of the season, then good for the Saints. But week 1, he's going to play, and Chris Olave on opposite sides of the field. You got Jamal Williams, who is a really good red zone guy.
Jimmy Graham.
You got Jimmy Graham who's coming back. He'll be a good red zone threat in the pass game, and you got really good guys in the receiving and running back cores for the red zone, and then guys like Michael Thomas, who's going to get you a first down if you're 3rd and 7, and guys like Chris Olave, who you can air out the ball and go for a 30-40 yard play and see what happens.
Not to mention who's on the Tennessee's secondary. I don't know anybody on there. I can't name a single secondary player on their defense.
Yeah, I mean the Titans have a couple of decent guys on defense, but nothing compared to what the Saints offense is going to bring during that game. And I don't even think comparable to the Saints defense either.
No.
And they got guys like DeAndre Hopkins, Derrick Henry, so I'm not going to sell them short because they're good. Treylon Burks is good last year as well.
Burks is pretty solid.
But I don't know if I trust Derrick Henry fully because he's coming off an injury. DeAndre Hopkins is coming off a suspension, and he's getting older as well. They don't have any repertoire with Ryan Tannehill, who is definitely...
Tannehill's the main thing, dude.
He's a worse quarterback than Derek Carr.
Oh, yeah.
Easily.
Hands down.
Yeah.
He had A.J. Brown and made A.J. Brown look like absolute garbage. The minute A.J. Brown switched over to the Eagles...
Well, he was good, but definitely not top 5 like he is now. But the only thing I think the Titans have better is a coach. I think that
they do have
Mike Vrabel is better than Dennis Allen. But Dennis Allen really hasn't had a solid chance to prove himself yet, so I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt there, and Vrabel has done it, and he's gone on some runs. They made the AFC Championship game, 3 or 4 years ago, but I just don't think it's the Titans' year this year. I think they get about 8 wins this season, 7 wins, and I think the Saints go pretty similar, and maybe get 8-9 wins and compete for that division with the Falcons. So I got Saints.
Take. This is probably the last year we'll see Derrick Henry do extremely well.
Oh yeah, I agree. I don't even know if it'll happen this year.
There's not much gas left in the tank. I would argue. Don't get me wrong, Derrick Henry, you king.
He'll have one of the best primes of all time for running backs. I mean, rushing for 2,000
down.
yards is insane.
Hands down. But the car gets beat up after so much mileage, man.
Yeah, I mean the wheels are starting to fall off that wagon, man.
Yeah, and with an O-line that can't really protect you all the time, and
that's the other thing.
Schedule's not the best. I mean,
yeah, the AFC South has a really tough schedule this year. The NFC South has a relatively easy schedule this year.
Right.
But aside from that, I just think the Saints pull this one out. I think it's a pretty easy win. Yeah.
This one I'm actually I'm really iffy about Ethan. 49ers Steelers.
Me too, man. I don't
very
know.
iffy.
This is going to be I think it's a low scoring game. I think it's a very low scoring game. I think it's
just
like
because first game of
18
the
to
season.
20. They're both extremely heavy on
Defensive.
defense, and the offense is good, but not as good as the opposing defense.
Right. Not to mention, both are quarterbacks that are in their second year.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Both are quarterbacks in their second year. Both have pretty decent tight ends. I'd give the tight end edge to San Fran. And coaching, I would give coaching to San Fran as well. Shanahan, you're a genius. But Mike Tomlin will figure out a way to.
He just does,
He just does.
Mike
I don't know
Tomlin
what's up
figures
with
it
Mike Tomlin. He'll figure you out.
Yeah, but I mean, the other thing is like you got George Pickens, Najee Harris, Pat Fryermuth, Deontay Johnson, decent guys.
Jalen Warren.
But then you got
running back.
Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, Elijah Mitchell, Christian McCaffrey,
C-Mac is the.
and it's just tough to pick this game because it's at home for the Steelers.
Yeah.
Like it's just everything goes back and forth. I don't know who wins this game. I want to. A part of me. I am being tugged towards picking the Steelers.
I'm tugged that
But
way,
everything
too.
on paper says the Niners should win. But I feel like the Steelers might eke this one out.
Here's the thing. I'd argue the Steelers have a better secondary than the Niners, and that'll be the difference maker.
I think it's going to be a run-heavy game because it's going to be so low scoring.
Oh yeah.
And
A lot of on the ground stuff.
does Najee
or
Harris?
short-
Najee
or
Harris
short
did not
dumps.
have a good season last year. Does he recover? Because he had a really phenomenal.
They have a
rookie
better
season.
O-line now.
Right. So does he bring it back a little bit? I'm gonna
And
go
not to mention
Steelers.
they used them a lot the year prior. So I mean,
Still, I mean, yeah, I think
He's a
I think he
unicorn.
bounces back a little bit. I'm taking the Steelers here just because I'm not. I mean, it's not putting money on it, so whatever. But I'm taking the Steelers here.
I'll take the Steelers here too. And also, here's the thing: the Steelers also found a pretty decent running back in Jalen Warren, who now will give
running back
Najee
by
some
committee
time to
always
rest.
helps.
Running back from
Always
committee.
helps. Yep, you can sit Najee
But
on third downs if you need to.
You can say the same thing about San Fran with Elijah Mitchell and C-Mac.
But I think that C-Mac's specialty is receiving. Obviously, he's a great rusher. But if I'm taking like pure rushing, ignoring last year for Najee, which I know is stupid, but if you take his rookie year versus like how I see Christian McCaffrey as a runner, I think Najee was a little bit better.
Oh, yeah.
And just as a pure rusher, obviously overall McCaffrey's eons better. But in just a pure rushing game, I think Najee might eke it out a little bit, especially with a little bit of a better O-line. And if he, makes that little third-year leap that people on the Steelers fan base side want him to, then yeah, I think Najee kind of ekes it out and has more rushing yards than McCaffrey, and I'm taking the Steelers. The spread obviously is in favor of the Niners, so obviously winning is covering the spread, but I think it'll be a close game. I think it'll be like a 3-point game.
It'll be a field goal game.
I think it's going to be a lot of field goals.
Yeah.
I take one of their kickers, I guess. They'll probably get you 12 points.
Yeah.
But moving
I
on.
got Steelers. Moving on, we already talked about them. Did we miss out on anybody?
Yeah, you need to.
Sorry.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Texans and Ravens.
All right, we're not going to take too much.
Yeah, this is a 3-second discussion. Baltimore, what's the spread? Baltimore minus 10.
10.
I'm going to pick an alternate spread and say Baltimore minus. Let's go Baltimore minus 45 points here. Baltimore minus 45 because they're going to win.
Mark Andrews is going to have 4 touchdowns.
You got Mark Andrews,
Odell
OBJ,
Beckham will
Rashad
have
Bateman,
7,
Zay Flowers.
Zay
You got J.K.
Flowers,
Dobbins
look at
back,
his-
Gus Edwards, Lamar Jackson's healthy. Mediocre defense, but it doesn't matter because the Texans have no one on offense.
This is the Texans, and this is Baltimore.
It's going to be a.
I'm sorry, Texans.
It's going to be a slaughter.
Yeah.
It's going to be a slaughter. I mean, yeah, there's nothing else to say. Just move on.
Okay, look.
Like the Texans' defense is better.
Stop.
but
Stop.
Yeah,
We're
that's
done
what-
with it. We're done with it. I'm curious about the spread line on this one.
Bears
Bears?
and Packers.
Bears -1.
I don't know.
That's awfully tight.
It's hopefully that.
That's
And I think it's
awfully
fair
tight.
because I don't know what the hell could
Packers
happen
still
in
have
this
a
game.
pretty okay defense.
And like Jordan Love, who knows how he's going to be? He could be
That's
really
the
good.
thing.
He could be
Jordan
really
Love,
good.
we don't know Jordan
And
Love.
I think that's what it entirely depends on because I think that the Packers are safer, but the Bears have such a low floor and a high ceiling. They could be 3-win or 13-win team this season, and I don't think it would shock that many people either way. But if Jordan Love plays well, then they're going to win this game. But it's
How many screen touchdowns do you think the Bears will have this game?
how many times does DJ Moore get thrown a negative pass and run for 80 yards? I think the Bears
DJ
win.
Moore's a dog. Yeah, I think the
I
Bears.
got Bears just because they're at home. I mean,
The Bears
I think
are
it gives
at
them a little
home.
bit of an edge. They hate the Packers. The Packers have owned them for so long. They're ready to get their win.
Ooh, revenge game. But would
Right.
it be the same though without Aaron Rodgers?
No, it won't.
No.
They're gonna beg for the win for their revenge game. Then they're gonna do it, and then everyone's like, yeah, but it was against Jordan Love, not Aaron Rodgers, who owned you for 12, 15, 16 years.
Aaron Rodgers pretty much teabagged you guys.
Yeah, he dipped his nuts on you, but yeah, it's the Bears. I don't really have a ton to say about this because we don't really know what either team's going to be this season. Either one could win the division or be last place. I mean, there's a lot of uncertainty with these teams, so
I'd argue the NFC North is the most competitive division there is, just because anybody could be number one.
yeah, I mean, it's up there for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely up there.
I don't know. I got DJ Moore playing in this game on my fantasy team.
Yeah, he's going to be good.
He's gonna be good. I mean,
Jair
he's a
Alexander's
great
a
fit. He's a
dog,
great
though.
fit. Jair Alexander, yeah.
But if DJ Moore just doesn't go deep, he gets like 2-yard dump balls and runs for 90, then it doesn't matter. Like, Jair Alexander's not going to run up to the line of scrimmage, you know?
Right.
So, but yeah, we'll move on from that one. That one's a little bit of some hogwash for that one, but
One game that I'm actually really curious about this week, Raiders Broncos. I have Raiders on this one, but not for the reasons you would think. Okay, so the spread is -3.5 for the Broncos. Here's the thing: Sean Payton had to humble. I'm blanking on his name, Russell Wilson, just because I don't really like Russell Wilson to begin
one of
with.
the greatest quarterbacks of the last decade.
Yeah,
But he sucked last year, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, they don't have Jerry Jeudy.
Yeah, true.
Cortland Sutton's is their main guy. I think Denzel Mims is their other
Mims,
guy.
yep. I got Mims. Mims is going to be pretty good, I think.
We still don't know how Javante's going to play
Mm-hmm.
and how much they're going to play him. The Broncos' defense is going to be good.
But you got Jimmy Garoppolo. You might be right because they got
Devontae
Devontae Adams,
Adams,
but they still
Hunter Renfrow.
they still didn't. And okay,
Jacoby Myers.
Doesn't
That's
matter. Here's the thing,
honestly,
though.
that's a better receiving core. And you have Josh Jacobs back.
yes, but they also had all of that last year and didn't do shit with it.
I
And they had a
understand.
better quarterback, Derek Carr.
I understand, but I feel like the Raiders want to come back on this.
They do, but they're not. Like it's not like they
But then-
upgraded with.
But it's Russell Wilson!
It's not like they decided, yeah, we're gonna go all in this season and get Jimmy G and ship out Derek Carr. Like Sean Payton's a much better coach
No,
than the
hands
thing.
down.
Like
No, I
think
agree. I know, I
Russell Wilson's
absolutely
gonna be
agree.
good this season. He's gonna be a top 10 quarterback this season.
I feel like there's still going to be some rust here on the Broncos.
I got Broncos. I got Broncos winning.
I got Vegas just because I'm taking a chance. I don't know. I got that gut feeling.
I mean,
that Vegas
either
is
way,
gonna
we
win.
don't. The problem is we
It's
don't.
not a game you expect Vegas to win, but I feel like they're going to win.
Well, I don't think people expect the Broncos to win either because of how bad they were last year, and there's the injury still. And they lost Bradley Chubb,
Yeah.
so I don't know. I'm gonna just stick with the. I'm gonna stick with the Broncos, but I hate this game. I hate this pick. I don't
hate-
like either team. They both suck.
They both suck.
Neither one of them is even gonna make a playoff run.
I hate you, Russell Wilson.
Like they both suck. They're both competing for like the 8th and 9th pick of the draft. Like that's what they're doing here. So whatever. Like screw this game.
Yeah.
Move on, man. I'm sick of that.
That game left a bad taste in my mouth. It
Yeah.
really did. Like I didn't eat anything.
That
but
is
like,
the only game this week that I'm not going to be watching. The
No.
only one. I'm angry at that game.
I don't want to watch this game either.
Which one?
Eagles Patriots.
What?
I
That's
don't
going to be a
want this.
good ass game, dude.
I don't think so.
What's the spread?
Spread's -4 in favor of the Eagles.
Patriots are covering.
Patriots are covering.
Patriots are covering,
Patriots
dude.
are covering.
They're at New England. Matt Jones is back. They fired every other quarterback. Bill Belichick's a monster.
Better
on defense.
receiver core this year. for
Matt
sure.
Judon.
Matt Judon.
Better receiving core, yeah. Ramondre Stevenson, they got Zeke as well. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I
just
mean,
Patriots.
both teams, I'd argue, are a little balanced, and the Eagles lost their offensive.
That's the problem because they beefed up their defense so much with the best draft of any team this offseason, but they lost their offensive and defensive coordinator, which we said before, and I'll say it
Yeah.
again. The rumor mill out of the Eagles department has been that they were the ones leading the charge to their success last year, and that's why they both got hired as head coaching gigs. It wasn't obviously Nick Sirianni being head coach is huge,
Right.
But there are certain amounts of roles that coordinators play. Like for example, Eric Bieniemy with the Chiefs
All right.
didn't play a huge role as the offensive coordinator because Andy Reid was doing all the play calling. But with the Eagles, it was the opposite, where Nick Sirianni kind of took a back seat to the play calling to the coordinators.
Right.
So we don't know what Sirianni is going to be able to do with new coordinators. And so I'd say it's a little bit riskier. So I'm taking the Patriots at home.
I'm taking
I
the
mean,
Patriots as
if
well.
it was
I
in
mean-
Philly, I would take the Eagles. But
Now,
at home,
the Patriots to cover the spread or to win?
to cover the spread.
Yeah, Patriots. To
I
cover
think
the
they
spread.
might win, but I don't want to bet on that because I think the Eagles could win by like a field goal, and it wouldn't
right.
shock me. Like if it's like as time expires, they kick a field goal from 50 yards out and win, just some bullshit like that. Like, yeah, I could see that happening, but
Right, and I don't know, man. I just really feel the Patriots on this one for sure.
Yeah. I do too. I think the Patriots.
Oh, and they have Mike Gesicki. Hope your shoulder's better. Shout out Mike Gesicki.
The best Gwitty in the league is from Mike Gesicki. Gwitty.
Gesicki Gwitty.
The Gesicki Gwitty is going to take a few laps on
I think
Eagles.
that's the best 2 tight end set. You know Belichick likes 2 tight end sets.
Yeah, that's why they had Johnny Smith and Hunter Henry, and they
Right.
had Aaron Hernandez and Gronk.
Right.
Two
And I
best
think-
tight ends of all time.
And I think Gesicki fits a little bit better than Jonnu.
Oh, yeah,
Jonnu
100%.
really looked like he was going to show off, but
Nah, I mean, Johnny's never been that great. He had like one decent season
Yeah,
in
at the
Tennessee,
Titans, yeah.
and that was kind of it. But Gesicki's obviously had several decent seasons with the
Gesicki-
Dolphins. Hunter Henry's always been pretty
Hunter
decent. He's
Henry's
always been one of those
always
like
been
top 15 guys in terms of tight ends. Like he's in the top half, but not top 10. But
notice how the Patriots have just like slowly been taking like Dolphins players. They have Devontae Parker, now they have Gesicki.
I mean, it's smart.
It's smart.
You know your opponents.
Yeah.
So we'll move on from
Move
that
on.
one. We both got the Patriots on that one.
This game, my 2 favorite teams in the NFL are playing each other.
Miami at LA Chargers. The home field advantage does nothing for the Chargers because they have 0 fans, and it's also the same weather as in Miami. So
yeah, so no home field advantage. It's a semi-open stadium. I actually wanted to go to this game. I wanted to.
of course you wanted to go to
I
this
wanted
game.
to
Like why wouldn't you?
Yeah. This is.
I got the Dolphins. The Chargers are favored to win by
I
3.
don't like this. I'm gonna have to go with the Dolphins.
Dolphins winning and obviously covering
I don't
and
know
then
why.
winning. They're better.
Yeah, they have better receivers. I'll give them that.
They're just better.
I would argue.
Justin Herbert's a bottom 5 quarterback in the league.
Imagine Justin Herbert on the Dolphins. No Tua.
Yeah, imagine Patrick Mahomes and the Dolphins. Like, yeah, that would obviously be better. Like, what are you saying?
I don't know, man. I mean,
Dolphins have a better defense.
definitely better. Is it though?
Yeah, because Derwin James will get ejected after the first 3 plays. I've said it every week. I'm going to say it again.
I mean,
he's going to...
Tyreek is gonna burn them though.
Well, here's the thing. Derwin James is going to break Tua Tagovailoa's spine in the first play of the game. Then he's going to get ejected. And so
Yeah,
then
but
it's
then
going
we
to
won't
be
have quarterback.
the Dennis Skylar Thompson, who you believe in. And you believe in him.
I do believe in Skylar Thompson. I like the kid. No, but it's Mike White and then Skylar Thompson.
What? They have Mike White above him on the depth chart?
I'm pretty sure they do.
I'm looking that up. I don't think that's true. There's no way. But yeah, I mean, I got the Dolphins. I just think that's kind of easy for me.
Right.
But I know you have an internal struggle as a Chargers loser fan.
Yeah, I mean, I have to pick the Dolphins. I don't like the spread. It'll be.
Well, I mean,
close game.
it's a
It'll be
fair
close
spread.
game.
It's a fair spread.
It'll
Yeah,
be
Mike White's number 2.
Yeah,
Wow. Okay.
and we have 2 running backs right now. I mean, assuming Devon Achane comes back.
Devon Achane.
Yeah, because we cut Myles Gaskin. Now he's at the
Yeah,
Vikings.
just fair. They didn't
But
need
you know
him.
what? Fair. That'll be nice.
Save a few bucks.
Yeah. And Jeff Wilson is on IR. Mm-hmm. So Mostert's going to be Mostert.
But they got. I mean,
fantasy.
but the thing is, though, is like if you're going to lose
Chargers
a
are
running
no good
back, if
defensive
you're going to lose like a
running back.
backup running back or a wide receiver, I'd lose the running back because then it's going to be a high scoring game, and you want your receivers in a high scoring game, especially like Tyreek and Dylan Waddle are just going to go for.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to go for
They're gonna
150
ball out.
yards each and probably 3 touchdowns between the 2 of them. Like
hands
it's
down, hands
it's
down.
going to be disgusting.
Oh yeah. Moving on. This one's easy. Rams Seattle. Here's what's going to happen.
Cooper Kupp is not playing.
Everyone's going to get a touchdown because Cooper Kupp's not playing. Everyone on Seattle is going to get a touchdown. 2 touchdowns to Metcalf, 2 touchdowns to Lockett. Let's give the running backs touchdowns because why not?
Smith and Jigba.
Yeah.
Might as well give him a tud.
Is he still hurt?
I don't know.
He
I
had
don't know
a
if he's
fractured
playing.
hand. He had a fractured
Yeah,
hand.
I don't know if he's
So
playing.
he might not play. Zach Charbonnet is going to get a
Yeah, either way, I think the
Kenneth
Seahawks win.
Gainwell.
It's -5. I think they cover. It's at home for the Seahawks. The Rams are Matt Stafford's coming off an injury. They don't have Cooper Kupp. The receiving core outside of that is trash. They got Tyler Higbee, who's a fine tight end,
Right.
mediocre. Cam Akers, even if he does play well like he's supposed to, it still doesn't matter
right.
because the Seahawks just have
Van
way more
Jefferson
skill.
will probably
Get
be a
70
little
yards,
better.
like
I
70
mean,
yards
Ben
maybe,
Skowronek,
40 yards. Like the Rams are just going to suck this season. They lost Jalen Ramsey too.
They have no
Like,
defense.
yeah.
They have one of the worst defenses on paper.
The only player they have is Aaron Donald, and I don't think he's going to play that well this season because he's getting older. And why would he care to put his body on the line when the team isn't going to win more than 6 games this season?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the Seahawks. They cover the spread.
Seahawks, they're going to cover.
Yeah.
Seahawks are just going to bird Dookie again. What's up with all these bird teams just crapping on their opponents? I don't know. It's birds here. Cowboys at Giants. Cowboys are favored -3.5.
This is a tough one. This is a very tough one.
Very tough one. All right, on 3, we say our pick.
Oh, I don't know.
All right,
I don't know.
Ready. 1, 2, 3.
Giants.
Oh, we're on the same page. I don't know why.
It's just because I like the Giants better than I hate the Cowboys, and I like the
I don't
Giants.
hate the Cowboys. I like the Cowboys.
I hate them. I hate them.
Calm down.
They are not America's team.
Hey, they are. You know that's true.
All right, yeah, I got the Giants. They're at home, which gives them a little bit of advantage, I think. They have a better receiving core. They were incredible last year.
Saquon.
They got
Saquon.
Darren
Waller.
They got Darren Waller now. They got Jalen Hyatt. They've got a decent receiving core now. Daboll's got 2 years now in that system.
The
Cowboys lost their
on the up and
OC.
up.
The Cowboys lost their OC. So I just think it... To
the Chargers.
And the Cowboys... I think they still get 12 wins this season, but I think that one of their 5 losses comes from the Giants, and then I think that that they beat the Giants at home later on. I think they're going to trade with the Giants.
Sweep them both times.
I don't know. I'll have to see what this thing is at that point, but if I had to bet now, I would just say they trade. Obviously, by whatever week that they play the second time, week 8 or 9 or whatever it is, then we'll see.
It's just, for me,
being...
when the head coach says he wants to play more control with the weapons that he has, with CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks...
That doesn't. Yeah, that's not what your skills group is made for.
Right, and same with Tony Pollard. I'm like, your skills group is meant for long, explosive plays, stretching the field,
exciting plays,
electric. Yeah, and we know Dak can air it out, and if Dak can improve in his accuracy a little bit,
which I think he'll be good. I think Dak.
And they have a good defense too. I mean, the Cowboys have a really solid defense.
Micah Parsons and Trevon Diggs, dude, they're disgusting. This time
they have Stephon
Gilmore. Yeah, that's a disgusting defense.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Man.
I don't know why I'm just worried about the coaching on this.
Yeah,
more than anything else.
I just think the offense is going to struggle with the Cowboys because of the OC being gone. Now Tony Pollard's being that running back one role. It's going to be a little bit different. CeeDee Lamb finally had his breakout year last year, so now he's going to be.
I totally called that. I love that.
I think everyone did once Amari Cooper was out of there, but right. I think especially now that he's going to get more of the attention from the defense. I don't know. I think that offense struggles a little bit, and the Giants are really damn good at controlling games. We said that a lot this offseason. We said it last season. That's why they made the playoff run they did.
And for me, it's going to be hard for the Cowboys to beat the Giants at their own game.
Exactly. Yeah.
The Giants have been working on this control scheme for a very long time.
Right.
And I'd argue Daniel Jones is a lot more mobile of a quarterback.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And Saquon's more explosive of a running back than Tony Pollard.
Right.
Daboll's really good at that scheme. But also the fact that in the playoffs, the Vikings are the most explosive team last season in general. Coming back from that 35-0.
Can't believe they beat the Vikings.
And they beat the Vikings in the playoffs. So I just think that the Giants have something to prove this season because a lot of people think they're not going to go back, especially with that division being so tough. I think they have something to prove. They have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, and they're going to come in and they're going to beat the Cowboys in week 1.
I have the Giants winning the division. Am I crazy for that?
I put some money on that. I put some money on the Cowboys winning too, but I think... it's tough.
It's such a tough division.
My mind says the Cowboys are going to win the division. I think that the Cowboys really actually do something this year. The past 4 years, every year that they've said they're going to do it, this year I've always said no, they're not. I think this year they might finally do it. I think Dak is going to really step up as a quarterback, and they're going to get 12 wins.
Right.
I think it probably comes down to tiebreakers for winner of that division.
Okay.
If them and the Giants both get 12 wins, it's going to be the divisional record, and I don't know who ekes it out at that point. I think probably the Cowboys, because they typically play better divisionally than the Giants do, at least in recent years.
Right.
But I don't know. I mean, the Commanders are obviously going to get swept, and the Eagles, we'll see. But I don't know. I mean, I got the Giants on that one.
Yeah, Giants on that one.
That's all I got to say at this moment.
Last game of the week. You and I have talked about this a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited about this one.
Bills, Jets.
Monday Night Football. Bills at Jets. Bills favored -2.5. I got the Jets.
I got the Jets.
Yeah, I think the Bills are going to regress this season. We've both said it. I don't think they're going to go negative.
Talking about, I still think they're going to go negative.
I think they get it.
I just have that.
I think they get 9 wins. It's a tough division. They have a really tough schedule outside of it. They're playing the Chiefs again, stuff like that in the regular season. And I think the Jets. I think they've all really bought into Aaron Rodgers. They really have. Oftentimes when a veteran quarterback comes in, whenever Russell Wilson did, the Broncos weren't bought into Russell Wilson. They weren't happy with how much money they paid him. Aaron Rodgers took a pay cut, and he's got cool T-shirts he's making with Sauce Gardner, really cool handshakes and dap-ups with the team. They really like him.
The locker room
is incredible.
Very healthy, high morale. Everyone's excited.
And we've heard the opposite from the Bills.
Yeah.
So I think the Jets take this one, and I think it's a like a medium scoring game because both defenses are good, but both offenses are still good. But I think the Jets win by a touchdown. I think they win, maybe 28-21, something like
Wilson's
that.
gonna have a game.
Yeah,
Game and a half. I mean, and
Dalvin Cook is going to play good because he's his first game of the season.
They're
off
probably
his
going to
injury.
they're probably going to ease in Breece Hall. I'd argue in this game just because help him off on his injury. And what better game to do this than this one?
Right.
And I mean, aside from Stephon Diggs, who else really do the Bills have?
Gabe Davis, who had one good game in the playoffs 2 years ago. No, Gabe Davis is a bum. They thought they had their answer, and everyone was proven wrong whenever Gabe Davis didn't do shit during the regular season.
I bought into Gabe Davis hype too. I mean, you would think high vertical threat. I mean,
and it just didn't work out for him.
it just didn't work out. And I will say they do have a better tight end than Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox. I mean,
Yeah, I guess, but what the hell does that matter?
it doesn't matter much.
No.
Like we talked about earlier, they're not utilized as often.
No.
No.
But yeah, I mean, that's kind of it. That's
I
kind
like,
of
I like this game too. Battle of the Cooks.
Yeah, that'll be interesting
James
to see.
and Dalvin.
Dalvin's going to whip his ass, obviously. He's way better than James Cook, even if he is a veteran on his last legs,
Right.
and James Cook is fresh. It's Jets. 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 They're going to win. So that's it for week 1, football. It's a lot of games. Obviously, we'll update next week and see what our record is starting off with this NFL season. But
Right. And then we'll start our bet for the T-shirt pretty soon.
next week, once we see what week 1 is, we're going to start our jersey bet. We just didn't want to do it week 1 because week 1s are always a little bit unpredictable.
Right.
So, well, thank you guys for watching. We're right, so put money on our
Yeah,
things.
yeah. I mean, you guys better be listening to us. I mean, if you're not listening to us, who are you listening to? You obviously don't know what you're doing.
Yep. Put money on everything we just said, and then check out our next video for a full video on bets because we are addicted to gambling, and we're going to help you make money. So, with that being said, go ahead and close this out.
Stay frosty, my friends.